What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. So I wanted to sit down and do a part 2 of my ex getting arrested on 5 felony charges. That was the last video that I posted. And man, there's so much more to it than just that one night. So in this video, I'm going to share the 5 days leading up to that event. I'm going to sit down with Jason and he's going to share a lot more background and context than I could give. Moving forward in filming videos like this, if it's not just giving advice when it comes to healing or leaving an abusive person or a toxic person, I think it's easier for me when specifically talking about this timeline to sit down with someone that has been involved, knows one of the two of us, has seen it and can think a little bit more clearly. You know, I have to keep a timeline in my phone because of all of the, things that I'll forget, and there'll be small things, like dates or times or what have you. And if I didn't keep a detailed record of everything, man, there's probably so much that I would forget, and that happens when you've gone through what I've gone through. So I know it seems very one-sided because I am on camera and I'm sharing all of this. My ex was probably, I would give him this advice too, but probably advised by his lawyers to not get on camera and not say a single thing because he has to build a defense. And for the first time in my life, I'm in a very weird position where I don't have to build a defense. I know my story, I know my truth. The truth doesn't die, the truth doesn't waver, the truth is always there, and I can share that with you. I also truly believe that abusive people get more power when you're silent. I'm not glad that he was arrested in Arkansas for all of these felonies. It scares me for my kids. I don't want him to go to prison. That sucks. That really sucks. Does he need help? Yeah. Yeah. But if that's not rock bottom, I really don't know what is. Anyway, I'm going to leave timestamps in the description box down below because I know that this is going to be pretty long, but I love you guys. And if you have gone through this or you're going through this, I'm so sorry. No one deserves this. No one deserves this. What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. So I wanted to kind of do a part 2 of the last video that I posted about my ex being arrested. I wanted to sit down with Jason, who is here today, and just present you guys with facts. As someone that has gone through this cycle of abuse with this person, with my ex, it kind of became a habit to document everything and keep record. And as much as I don't want to explain and then re-explain and defend myself, it's kind of a trauma response, right? I know what happened. He knows what happened. So does my ex. And I think there are some people within this very messy situation that don't really know, who he is or the manipulation that's taken place. And it's frustrating. It's super easy to just point at me and say, oh, it's my crazy ex-girlfriend. And that's just not the case. So that's why we're sitting here today, to present you with facts instead of just me ranting and raving and rambling. I want to leave as little room for speculation and misinformation as possible. So I don't really know where to start, though.
I hung around Reese for a year. Me and Reese were kicking it like buddy every day, all the time, everywhere,
Yeah.
So people don't know all that, There's no bits and pieces.
Had Reese ever spoke to Matt prior?
We did a video. I talk to Matt a lot, and I video chat with everybody. I'm always video chatting or on speakerphone. I had a plan with Reese to go down to Arkansas. We were going to go down together, and Matt was one of the people we were going to run into down there. Then we went to my house, and he ended up flaking out on me, and you guys went down there, and he did that with you.
So just to give a little bit more context to that, so my ex had told him that, they would go to Arkansas together. I had no knowledge of that. And this was at the time where I was working on closing on my home. And I was living in a hotel with our daughters. And my ex was, I even have the text message still. He was trying to pressure me, trying to get me to go to Arkansas with him. And when I said, no, you go, see your family, do whatever. I'll be here with the kids. If it's okay, I would like to, go home his place, maybe cook Thanksgiving dinner, maybe pack some things up while you're not here. That way we're not in the same space and we're not fighting or whatever. When that didn't work, he tried to then make me jealous with some other girl, and it was just very manipulative. And this was a 2 or 3 day ordeal of him just putting pressure on me to go with him. And finally I agreed, and I don't know why. I was probably exhausted, just fine, I'll go. Jason had no knowledge of me going down there until I was there. While I was in Arkansas, my ex essentially held me and our kids hostage, going through tablets and screens and all of that stuff. I texted Jason a text, and this is why it's so long and confusing, because there's so many layers to this. But I texted him and told him about what happened a couple weeks prior, where he kept me, he almost killed me in our bathroom. So for me to go to Arkansas with him at that point, I don't know why I did. It was like, just give in, just give him his way, and then maybe nothing bad will happen. I don't know. I don't know why I went down there. So I remember telling you during that time, like, listen, he's been like physically abusive, and maybe I haven't been very clear in the past. My ex was not physically abusive to me until the relapse, and that's what makes it really hard for me to like figure out, where is this? Is it just his substance use that makes him violent? The emotional stuff I can see was abuse throughout all of it, because I have distance and time, but he wasn't physically abusive until he started using.
I was told today by someone that he's always been using. He never stopped. He was using coke all the time since we guys were together, like doing lines here and there at work with his buddies and stuff.
Really?
And, huh?
Like our whole relationship?
Yeah, you didn't know that. He just when he came out here, he tried to run with the big dogs and fell off the porch. He was always using. He was always doing something. He was always, that's the statement he made to these people that that know him and know us. And I don't know if we can say their names or not.
I wouldn't. I don't like to do that. I don't like to say. I won't even say my ex's name anymore, like, ever again. But we didn't have the best relationship in the world, but when it was good, it was really good, and when it was bad, it was really bad. And I know a lot of people can understand that. And my hope is to make these videos, share my story, educate people about domestic violence and narcissistic or toxic abuse that you might encounter or experience or see. So education is the goal, and then I've learned a lot along the way, and I would like to share that with people that have gone through it. So it's not malicious. I'm not trying to film these videos to out someone that has abused me, but you lose the right to privacy when you almost kill somebody, when you emotionally abuse somebody, when you do all of the really bad things that he did. And like I said in my first video, if you don't want people to know you do fucked up shit, don't do fucked up shit. So we are where we are. So moving forward,
people like him, they can wear a mask that you don't even know. Like every time you meet some people, everybody goes, "Oh, he's a good dude. He's this and that." But when you hang around him for all the time, you know what he is, because you can't hold it forever, And I'm not the best influence, and
yeah, you're a whole ass red flag.
Yeah, I'm a big, got the right shirt. Yeah, and he tries to emulate the people he's around.
Yeah, he mirrors people.
Yeah, he tries.
That's what that's called.
People that have been in the streets a long time can see shit like that, because that's what we go off, I seen what it was. There was times I was with him and I just couldn't stand his ass, because he would be so arrogant and so fucking, he'd say off the wall shit and piss me off, and I'd be like, man, just fuck this dude,
Jason entered chat in my life again, December of 2022. So he spent an entire year being buddy with my ex. He was team my ex the whole time for a year. I mean, I really didn't talk to him that much.
She would catch me on the camera and go into the house, and then she'd try to come get me, and I'd run out the door. I wouldn't even talk to her.
I'm like, oh,
big chicken shit.
Where are you? And
running
away from me. I ran in the house, and I just wanted to talk to you. I wanted you to look me in the eye and tell me like some things that was going on.
I couldn't. I was a drug addict. I was in my addiction and being a dirtbag, and I let you down, and it won't happen again.
I'm not judging you for that. Like, there's a lot of things I can forgive. I just can't forgive malicious intent. So Jason enters chat in my life again in December of 2022, the beginning of December. So at that time, you didn't know how horrible he was being to me. You heard one version, which was his side, and I'll let you tell them what you thought the whole time.
It was always she's trying to keep the kids from me. I'm moving out and she won't leave. She won't be going to pack her stuff, and she stays there all day and don't pack nothing and all this shit. And he wanted me to, when you guys were in Arkansas, to go to the house and clean out your shit and put you in storage and take your Jeep from you and all that shit. And we weren't kicking it or homies, but I'm not gonna do malicious shit to you. I wasn't out to hurt you like that. He tried to give the dog to one of my buddies. Little Bowie. And we wouldn't let that. I didn't let that happen. There's a lot of things that he wanted to do, but I never let it happen, so I didn't do it.
That's why the dogs are on the order of protection.
Yeah.
So when you come back on the scene, it's just me and the kids here.
Mm-hmm. You don't even know when you moved in, you had boxes everywhere and shit.
Yeah, I had just gotten here, and I was packing at the house. I had a packing schedule, but I was also working full time, so it wasn't easy to pack up a huge house. But anyway, you came back in because I had called him one day. I got scared. And I called Jason to just come over and sit here because if there is a man around, that might curb my ex's aggression. The kids are here, it's just me. I don't want to call the cops. That was the first time that you actually saw with your own two eyes. I'm not the crazy bitter baby mama. I'm not stalking him. I'm not doing these things he's saying.
Well, it wasn't that.
I'll let you say
it. When I was here, I parked down the street, I came over, walked over, came in the house, and he showed up, started setting off the Jeep alarm in the garage and doing all this crazy shit, fucking, I need the Jeep, it's being repo, and being a, creepy motherfucker, kind of Jack Nicholson-y, Shining,
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there, and you're like, don't say nothing, and I'm sitting there watching. But what got me was when he called me. He's like, yeah, she's at it again, and she's doing this, and she's doing that. I'm like, motherfucker, what do you mean? I'm at your house. I'm at the house right now. He's like, you're at my house? I'm like, no, I'm at her house, motherfucker. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm sitting at her house right now, and I witnessed you setting off the Jeep alarm and all this. And he's like, well, who was it? Yeah, I'm like, no, I seen you at the door.
Yeah.
And that was the first, he was lying. I caught him in a lie, and I caught him in what he was doing, and it was just fucked up. All the shit he was saying was, he lost all credibility with me then. Then he, oh, you're at the house with my kids, and this is that. Ooh, I'm gonna come back there right now. I said, well, come back here. I'm waiting for you. I went out there, put the Ring doorbell on, and told him, come on, let's go. We'll get it in the front yard right now. And he sent me back a text. We probably sent a text, and he said, I'm gonna respect Jeff's wishes and not come to the house. First time ever, huh?
First time ever. And now I'm trying to tell him everything that's been going on, but even when we were in the hotel, I was getting wellness checks at my door from the hotel saying, your dad called. I'm like, my dad doesn't know what hotel I'm in. I didn't tell my dad what was going on because I don't want my family to worry. Now, that was back in October, so I'm at the hotel getting wellness checks done by the staff at the hotel. Then I move into the house, I'm getting wellness checks done by cops in my face at 2 a.m. or the cops... Yeah, DCFS is at my door. So I've been investigated by DCFS for 4 months straight. They just closed the second case just the other day. So for 4 months, DCFS has investigated me on 2 separate cases, same allegations, both unfounded. And it's just exhausting. So
it gets to the point where, I've been here a couple times that they came, and it gets to the point where you're just so fucking aggravated with them. I'll yell at the cops now. Get the fuck out of here, and
compare notes, dude.
If they don't. First shift don't tell second shift don't tell third shift, whatever the fuck. They just, all hours of the night, they're showing up over here. I'll be here doing work and fixing something or doing something, and next thing you know, the cops are at the door. You know what I mean? To get Jessica. And I'm like, she's sleeping. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, no, we can't. The kids are here. I'm like, you ain't getting in. You got to come down and settle me down to tell them. And I'm not fucked up to yell at a cop, because they got no rights. They have to follow the law like we have to follow the law. Yeah. And what he was doing is basically using them to harass you. And I tell them that all the time in the videos. We got Ring doorbells at it. What's this concerning?
Hey, what's up? Is Jessica here?
I don't know. What's this concerning?
Oh, I'm trying to talk to Jessica. I'm not trying to give you any problems. I'm trying to give you utmost respect. You come at me crazy, I'm not doing anything to you at all. At all.
This is the 15th time you guys been here.
For me, it's the first, and I apologize for whatever we're here before, but I'm looking to talk to Jessica.
Okay, about what?
It's in regards to her children.
So let me guess, Judge Klein called?
Okay, exactly. Listen, brother, I don't know anything about him, okay? I'm just trying, all I gotta do here is make sure that...
Listen, there's an order of protection against Judge Klein.
All I gotta do is make sure the kids are fine, and I'm out of here, that's it.
Judge Klein is an order of protection against him. He's making you violate his order of protection, you know that?
No, I don't know that.
Okay,
Let me talk to him.
What if she's not here?
Why? I gotta keep knocking to make sure I gotta make sure the kids are fine.
You know what? We did this the other day with him.
So I can do this all night because I get paid for it. So I'm here all night.
I'm here all night too. You know what I'm saying?
So what's the problem then?
The problem is we go through this every fucking day with this guy.
Okay, well then.
When are you guys gonna realize it's a fucking bullshit thing, man?
Yeah, I've had wellness checks done on me by cops and DCFS and hotel staff for months and months and months. I probably have 3 dozen videos that I could show you of that. So let's fast forward to this incident.
She told us to come by this house and get the property. You rent the U-Haul truck. We go over there with the intent of getting property. He's sitting in there with his friend, drinking beers at fucking, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon? It was before that because he had to go with the kids.
It's noon.
Like noon. He's in there drinking beers and he's like, nope, you can't come in, and we already rented the truck and everything. You already rented everything. So I lost my shit. I'm screaming and yelling, telling him to come outside, and he ain't coming outside. And
well, you don't lose your shit until the cops show up. You're not yelling at him at first.
Well, he's yelling at me, you're going to jail, dickhead, and I'm like, okay, we'll see, dickhead, through the back door. You weren't back there when I was yelling at him when I first showed up, and I seen the cleaning lady slash whoever that was. So we go back and forth, and then he tries to have me arrested for being on his property trespassing. Well, I know the law, so I have to tell the cop what it is, and the cop's like, oh, you're right, you know, and then...
He's like, it's trespassing, and you tell the cop that law, and he goes, the cop is now on the phone with my ex, and he goes, oh shit, hey, so he's actually not trespassing, and I'm like, what? I'm gonna sit over here. I'm gonna go over here. Go ahead.
It gets to the point where he's like taunting in the windows and stuff. He's got a warrant, he won't open the door, and he's saying he's not there, he's in Texas or somewhere, or Kansas City, he's in Kansas City.
Kentucky or some shit.
I was so mad, so I told Jess, I'm like, I will kick the door in right now, run in the house. The cops have to follow me in the house to get, and they'll see he's in there and they'll arrest both of us. And fuck it, let's do it. And she looked at me and she told me no. And she really...
No one cares about your cheating scandal, Bono.
You're on national TV, stop it. So it gets to the point where I'm like, Jess, just let me kick the door, I'll kick the fucking door in it. And she's looking at me and the cop's like, no, please don't, you can't do, you get arrested. I'm like, that's the whole point, I'm going in there. You ain't even fucking here. She's the only one who can stop me right now. And he looks at her and she's like, no, and I can see in her eyes she don't want me to get arrested, but at that point in time I didn't care. I would kick the door and go get him. So I scream in obscenity, fuck, and I go smack the camera he's got up in the air, and the cop's like, you just moved that camera. I said, you know what, fuck that. She bought it, I take it. I ripped the camera off the wall and fucking take it with me and throw it in a truck. And I just started taking what I could around the outside of the house. You know?
We also have an itemized list that he agreed to, and that includes the patio furniture that I paid for. It was just another incident where he was stalling and he didn't want me to have my property, which is just irritating. It's costing me more money. Now I have to get a U-Haul for another day, and it's just stressful. It's not trespassing because of Mr. Loophole over here. The only thing that they could say was, this isn't gonna look good, you're toting a fine line. But these cops, they have been called many, many times because of, you know, domestic violence calls, and it's very obvious what he's doing, you know, and it becomes so frustrating, you know. And I think one of the cops had even said, U-Haul day one, I appreciate what you're trying to do, because, you know, Jason was yelling like, you want to put your hands on a little girl, but you don't come out here and put your hands on me. There's no way I want you to kick in that door. And
I would, I didn't care.
I care.
The cop didn't want to go in there. He's like, what if you got a gun on? I don't care. You know, I'm going in. And I was so mad.
You're like, I've been shot before. No, it's just stuff. It's just stuff. And I would rather just leave and do everything the right way.
But it's the point of the way he is. He's just so smug in the door, you know, and we know him. So, you know, he's peek out doing a little smug and waving and doing a little shit. And then the cops are going to be hiding behind the curtain and shit. Come on, man.
So
man the fuck up, dude. I was manning up. I was out there.
So later that night on U-Haul day one, he had put some things outside for Jason to go grab. He gave permission for him to take apart the trampoline for the kids, and
the cop car and all that shit.
Right, and said that we could come back the next day with the U-Haul, as long as I still had my key. I can go in. So that's exactly what happened. The next day, we showed up with a U-Haul that I now have to pay for day two. Show up with the U-Haul, enter with my key. I still have current bills at that address. I'm still paying bills at that address. I show up with that. I show up with the itemized list.
Your ID still has that address.
My ID is still that address. And there's very clear evidence of a lot of back and forth, which unfortunately is just the cycle of domestic violence. You go back when you know you shouldn't. So we were able to get all of my property out, and I'm very grateful for that. All I wanted, tell them what I wanted.
The baby books.
Baby books. I'm like, I don't care about anything else. I don't care about a table. Like, I want the baby books. And I...
Well, as long as it was on the receipt of your bank statement, it came with us.
Yes, and go.
And then Mr. Fun Guy, I want to call him Mr. Klein, old Judd, decides to say that we broke in his house. And so the cops are like, did you break in the house? We're like, no, we had a key. It's like, oh, well,
here's the video.
So, yeah, so it's like everything he does is he tries to trick a motherfucker, but he's trying to trick the wrong motherfucker.
And I've been through this cycle with him for so long that I know to document everything. I know to follow the law. I know to be very cautious and careful, because he's very good at twisting the narrative. And that is why I'm like, hold on, I'm not twisting it. These are the facts.
And on paper, he looks like a good guy, because, you know, he has no background, no nothing, because he got expunged and all this shit, and we look like the fucking criminals.
I'm used to that, but...
I am too, that's why I know the law.
I do just want to say, like, even though he's done everything he's done to me, even though you know what it is, you still don't want him to be harmed, you know, so the kids don't have...
No, I don't want nothing to happen. No, I like him. You know, and we talk all the time, and he's changed up on me. You know, don't get wrong, I'll fucking fight him in the front yard anyway, but afterwards I'll have a beer and kick it, you know, I'm not fucked up about it. That's the way things go around me. I don't hold grudges, I'm not a grudge holder.
You're really not.
But he's getting too smug with his shit. He was all him hawing about we robbed them and this and that, and his demeanor changed.
He really did change up when he didn't get his way. He's very used to getting his way. But in the process of moving my stuff out of the house, we just happened to see an insurance policy that he took out, which is what I mentioned in the first video. So
this is an ongoing investigation, and we are persons of interest, according to Mr. Klein.
So when the cops called and told me that, I just shrugged it off. I'm like, whatever, dude, we didn't break in. But then I'm unpacking everything and I see the insurance policy and I'm like, wait, were you trying to set me up for a B&E? Even though he's done all of these things, wellness checked me 47 times with cops in my face, which is very triggering to me because I've been to prison. I've been, guns in my face, put on the ground, and that was all my own fault, right? I went to prison. I'm very triggered with cops, and he knows that. So
Me too.
Yeah.
I get aggravated and aggressive with him.
Yeah, I start shaking and crying. Even though all of this has happened, even though he's done 1,000 things to me, I need him to be sober, healthy, functioning, and emotionally available for our kids, and I don't want anything bad to happen to him. No one is threatening him or trying to harm him.
He didn't get his way, so he was
very aggressive. He
it's not a tantrum almost, kind of tantrum-y.
It's so normal. It's not normal. It's very consistent with this kind of personality type, and
no one ever sees it. No, I never seen it. I seen him one time throw a tantrum at me. He was going to do something, came to the house, and he changed his whole tune when he opened the door.
Oh my God, that was insane for me. That's a horrible night.
Yeah.
We were just laying in bed, everything was fine, and he got crazy eyes, and I'm like, please, no one, everyone love everyone.
I know he's got a warrant for the domestic battery, because I was here when it was issued and all that stuff, and we talked to the cop.
Well, the charge is assault. The warrant is for assault.
Yeah, he's like, I can't tell you, but if I see him, I'm going to arrest him. So we know what it is.
Well, all I could say is that if I see him, he's the one to do.
He is an Army veteran, first on the ground in Iraq. He has episodes. He has PTSD episodes. They are scary.
After he didn't get his way, he left off angry, upset, like throwing a tantrum kind of, and I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what he's capable of. He's whatever. So I find a friend of mine that he knew, he's seen in video chats and stuff, who's a fellow vet too, who knows what that shit's like.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, I'll drive out there for him, I'll go just check on making sure he's okay. Well, the dude's Matt's a pretty big guy, but he's the nicest, sweetest. He's
a squishmallow.
Yeah, he's a squishmallow, whatever that is. But he is soft-spoken, and
he's the most non-threatening person that he could find, and the one single time he was checked on, it was from a non-threatening person, not law enforcement at the door, and he knows he has a warrant. He's not going to call the cops. Jason's not going to call the cops. So he didn't want to do that. He didn't want him to feel intimidated or threatened. He wanted to just make sure that he was okay. So
my buddy knocks on the door. Reese opens the door and they start talking, and he's like, hey, you Reese? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm here, to check on you, make sure you're doing all right. Jason sent me over here. And as soon as he heard my name, he, lost his shit, kind of. I don't know. But he tells my friend to leave. He turns around instantly and walks away. At this time, I did not know he was pointing a gun at him,
Yeah.
Because we got video of it and we're going to show it.
Mm-hmm.
He held his composure pretty good at the door, and he's walking away, and I guess he hears the door close behind him. He thinks it's over, and he's walking through his truck, and next thing you know, Reese follows him down the stair or outside in the parking lot.
Yeah, he was on the ground level. I
think. Yeah, out the parking lot. He follows him into the parking area and fires around
in front of 3 witnesses.
Then goes back inside and won't open the door for the police when they show up. I mean, he was not being threatened. The guy was leaving. You'll see in the video. He's walking away. And you hear, I'm like, hey, what was that? I know what it was, but I just want to hear him say it.
Because no way.
I was just coming to check on you. Jason wanted me to check on you. Huh? Check on you. I'll just check on you. Make sure he's all right. Good. Okay.
Tell him to stop.
Okay. All right, man. Gotcha. Okay. Okay, to make sure you're all right, man.
Tell him to call the cops. What's that? Something about a gun? What?
You didn't hear that?
What?
You pulled a gun on me. You didn't hear him shoot the round up?
He can't have a gun, Matt. He can't have a gun. He's got a fucking warrant and shit. He can't have a gun.
Hey, so I wanted to just pop in here and explain to you guys what you're hearing, because you have to kind of listen close, or you have to listen to it a few times to really get it. So my ex opens the door with the gun in his hand. And what you hear is, you hear that first bang. So he had a chain on the door. You hear him close the door, remove the chain, and open the door. Now it takes 2 hands to cock a gun, so he chambers the round, cocks it, and tells him if, he comes back, he's going to call the cops. Now, the audio does kind of go out a couple of different times, and you can't really hear anything, but if you look at the time, this happened, in a minute. In 1 minute, it escalated for absolutely no reason. So you can see Matt walking out of the building, and that is where my ex follows him and fires around. No one that is emotionally stable does something like that. I don't care if you were woken up or not. I don't care if you were irritated or not. I don't care if you're drunk. There's just no excuse to do what he did. You can speculate intent all day long. You can say that he had him checked on for the wrong reasons, but no one made him fire that gun. And whether he was sent over to check on him to irritate my ex or not, that doesn't make what he did okay.
And no matter what people think, what your opinion is of what happened, whether I did it to irritate him, did it to really check on him or not, it doesn't matter. His mask came off. He exposed himself to the person he really is, And, I'm sure you people at home or people, whatever, when you're in that situation and the cops show up, your ex, your whatever, your abuser always puts on that friendly guy thing, and the cops are all buddy talking in front, and you're irate because you just went through some abuse, and then you're irate because the cops ain't listening to you. And I know how it is, because when people show up on the scene for me, they don't listen to what happened to me. They just want to arrest me and drag me away. So I get, but I get it. So he got exposed.
So there are pages 1 through 18. I'm just going to show you page 1 is a no contact order now that, I don't know if the state put on them. I don't know if the state automatically does that in cases like this, but it is a no contact order. So my ex is not to contact Matt. And did we say they have talked before? He knew who he was. They've talked before. Okay, so no contact order. Page 2 of 18 is, again, the no contact order. You were ordered to not be in possession of firearms, ammunition, alcohol, or illegal or controlled substances, which again is in my no contact order with him as well. So,
but the cop said he was drunk and had a firearm, so he broke the no contact order again.
Correct. Page 4 is the affidavit of probable cause. This is where they are proving that they had a reason to obtain the search warrant. After an extensive investigation, the defendant, the client, was arrested on May 21st, 2023 for aggravated assault, Class D felony, possession of a controlled substance, Class D felony, discharging firearms within city limits, and an unclassified misdemeanor. The facts of this investigation are set out in the arrest report.
A controlled substance is a controlled substance, whether it's steroids, cocaine, heroin, crack, meth.
Yes.
They're all controlled substances. You're
Steroids.
allowed to have them.
Steroids are drugs.
Yes. So everybody is like, oh,
that's not a drug. Yeah. It is. And it changes the way that you function on the day-to-day. It really, truly does. Roid rage is not some mythological thing that doesn't happen. That's a very real thing. Putting more testosterone into your body than naturally comes into your body can make you aggressive and irrational. All the compounds listed in here is just a fucking perfect storm for him to act erratic. Plus mental health, conditions and alcohol. It's just the perfect storm for not a good situation. My ex was arrested at 9 p.m. and by midnight or 1 a.m. or so, the cops were on my door to check on the children. If his dad thought that the kids were in danger, he could have called me. He could video chat. Anyone could call me or video chat, and they don't.
Yeah.
And I didn't even believe his dad called. I didn't think it was his dad until I saw the booking sheet and the time of arrest. The time of arrest was 9 p.m. Well, my ex was in jail at 9 p.m. and the cops were at my door at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. So it makes me think that his dad really did call the cops instead of just checking on me. And in the police report, it says he believes that we drove down there to set him up, right? That's not what happened. But again, this is a continued pattern of abuse and violence and recklessness. And
there'll be more. There'll be something else that happens. It's not over yet. Yeah, a long court date going on.
Yeah, and every court date is pushed off or whatever, and he doesn't want to come in person because he has a warrant here. He won't pay child support. He won't pay damages. It's just an ongoing thing.
Tried to say something about the motorcycle, the alleged motorcycle that was taken, was split in half for the damages and stuff, you know.
Yeah, he's trying to negotiate the money the judge ordered me for damages when he held me hostage.
And when we went over and moved the stuff out of the house, we cleaned up, you know, we cleaned up. You see me, I see me, like, why you see me? Like, that's what we, you know, I'm not going to leave a mess. You know?
Yeah, I clean the kitchen off it.
This ain't
I don't
over.
steal. I don't steal. I don't move maliciously. I want what is mine. If I can get it, if I can't, it's just stuff, just one of the baby books. I'm not going out of my way to harass or hurt him, and it is my belief that he is moving that way.
It's getting late. It's time for me to get out of here, you know. Yeah. I got to go. It's Saturday night, and I got things to do.
Okay.
You can wrap this up? Or
I will wrap it up.
You wrap it up?
I'll wrap it up.
Well, if I see everybody again, I'll be back, because I have a lot more to say. And,
your story is better, though.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about your hands and your medical stuff before you go?
I'm supposed to have surgery for bilateral and lateral.
Don't mean to say it.
Yeah.
So it's bilateral carpal tunnel, and I think also rheumatoid arthritis with just a lot of stuff. I forget what Jory calls it. I think it's like complex regional pain syndrome. And I know the last video was taken down with you, and I'm just protective. I'm just really fucking protective. I'm like, you don't have to explain your health stuff.
My hands are messed up. Plus, I got permanent tweaker hands, you know.
Do you think you're permanent tweaked?
Sometimes, like, my mouth twitches and shit, and people say I'm high when I'm not high. You know.
Oh, it's aggravating.
When I'm high, I'm really high. I wouldn't be on camera.
You wouldn't be around me.
I'd be gone. But yeah, my hands are messed up. I constantly got to rub them and stuff. They're swollen. I'm going to have the surgery. We got the paperwork for that, too, because everybody's saying they're lying and shit. And it's funny because people are trying to test motherfuckers that have been to prison where paperwork is king. So I don't ever say nothing without the paperwork. I don't ever do nothing without the paperwork. I have to have the fucking proof. And just because Bob said Jim did this, it didn't happen, you know. And you learn that stuff when you're in prison. So I have tubs of paperwork, all my cases, everything I have. And everything I tell you is the truth. You don't notice how bad you're messed up when you're out there running around doing that shit.
You don't.
You know, because you're medicating and doing whatever, allegedly. But once you come off that stuff, man, your body just starts taking its toll, you know.
And you're not like a spring chicken. You know, you're older. So there's natural things that your body's gonna go through. He hates hearing that.
Look, I was put on a shelf for 10 years. I sat somewhere, worked out, ate good.
In time.
Yeah, frozen in time. So I'm young. You see me, I got no quit in me. You thought when I was gonna move all that furniture by myself and I'm carrying tables and stuff around, I was gonna get tired, and I just didn't stop, did I?
Yeah, that's called mania. Yeah. People are going to say it's drug addiction, but...
Funny, I was seeing the two officers with weapons asking her to control me when I'm running around doing stuff.
I'm like, I'm not going to help him move anything, because maybe he'll get a little tired and calm down. No. And I know why you're frustrated. I know why you're mad. You know, he physically hurt me. He emotionally hurt me.
He hurts these kids. There's a video. I got a video where I was going to grab him and drag him to Chuck E. Cheese. I went to the house to pull him out of his house and bring him to Chuck E. Cheese because his daughter's saying, I'm not going to spend none of my tokens till my dad gets here. And I couldn't take it. I looked at Jess and I'm going to get her. She says, don't hurt him. I'm like, I'm not. I went to the house. I beat on the door, and he's fucking drunk inside the house. Wouldn't come out the house.
And the night before, we're all hanging out.
Hanging out, buddy, yeah.
Yeah. The next day, he goes and gets Mindy and brings her back here just to make me mad because he was mad that I would even dare send you over there to try to get him to go to Chuck E. Cheese. You know, he was mad. He was embarrassed that he looked bad to Jason and didn't want, to seem like he didn't want to be seen the way that he really is, and like we've said this whole time, that mask is pretty good. And
when hanging out with us, like when hanging out with me back then, we were always out doing stuff, and he couldn't keep the mask with me. He says we're alike, but I don't think we're alike in no fucking way.
He said the same thing. We're alike, and his ex was so crazy, and the only way that he could win this game is if he stopped playing the game. And I believed him. I believed that his ex was all of the things, because I didn't have the knowledge of the abuse that I'm experiencing back then,
There's some stories he told me about you, like when having a team of people following him and all that shit, and we were going to a hotel looking for him, and I'm bringing my guys over there to fucking, and it was all a bunch of bullshit. It was all just a bunch of smoke and mirror type shit.
Yeah, smoke and mirrors. Like, I am not the crazy bitter baby mama, and I believed him about this girl because I just believed everything he said. And there's one specific thing where he would say, she can't ever have my phone number. Every time I get around her, I'm checking my wallet to make sure my wallet's not stolen, and she can only email me. And that's what he did to me. Like, I can only communicate via email, which I don't want to, there's no contact order now, and that's been changed a million times, and I know this is super confusing, but I see everything so clear now, because everything he said about his ex is now what he's saying about me, and everything he said about us both, that's what he's doing. And it's like,
what you're gonna have to do is like a book, like book of like day 1, day 2, different episodes.
Hopefully this video isn't too long. Hopefully it all makes sense. I'm not in any way trying to hide anything. I did want more time before I said anything about who, what, when, where, and why, only because 2 different parole officers had to be notified first before things went public. I didn't have the police report until 10 minutes ago.
I also want to see everybody put their foot in their mouth too. I did at least, you know.
It is a little ridiculous to see content creators making videos about me and having their people harass me on the daily. You know, my goal is to educate, be transparent, but that transparency does not mean that you are entitled to every single intimate detail of my life. I'm doing what I can in my own pace, when I can, and how I see fit, and I will continue to do that. So think whatever you want. I know my truth and my story, and I don't want to, I don't know, I didn't want to talk to the people that I knew he was manipulating, but now it's like we should talk, we should get on the same page, we should have a team meeting, because one person is causing a lot of tension.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah, and that's what he has done for a long time.
And the 15 people that are in my head talking right now, they're all like me. So.
Yeah, I wish we talked sooner. I wish I talked to the neighbors sooner. I wish I talked to his ex sooner. You know, even though
he puts stuff out there and he makes it sound so convincing. And then I tell you, check. You're like, no. Then we go check and it's like, oh, he's lied about the whole fucking thing. And he's printing papers that the lawyer's lying. There's so much shit going on.
I found out that he hid a BMW from me since 2016. I mean, right after our daughter was 6 months old and he bought a BMW that I knew nothing about. He had a whole separate life.
Before he moved here. He bought a BMW here before you guys moved here.
He bought a BMW in Illinois in 2016. We didn't move to Illinois until 2018. And I can't comprehend that. I'm shocked by that. Yeah. So anyway.
Credit card fraud. He's telling everybody that he's doing credit card fraud. They sold his cars and stuff. And I got the text messages where he says he's going to send me money on Cash App. Yeah, he's trying to tell Cash App that come on. You're not getting away with this shit, buddy. You're not getting away with this shit. You keep pushing and pushing and pushing. All you gotta do is come see your kids and pay your child support and everything, and be happy. But you want to play all these tactical games? Well, guess what? I'm a good opponent. I like the games. I can't sit still. My mind wanders all day long. I need stuff to do. You know that. I'm manic as hell. I fucking hardly sleep. And I love the drama. I'm a fucking drama queen. Mm-hmm. Prison made me that way.
I am the complete opposite. I really am so introverted, and I would rather just not talk to someone than go through the drama. But anyway, we're ranting and raving. We're going to be back with Jason so we can tell his story, and it breaks my heart that I deleted the first one because I love that video. And I know now, I didn't know when we were filming that you were manic. I've seen you like that before. I really didn't think anything of it. Because I have seen you that way, but we really haven't talked about it. So when you said that, when I was editing, I'm like, well, do you want me to put the video up? Yeah, put it up. I like the video because I like the stories.
You know what? I don't care what people think. If they think I'm high, I think whatever. I've been through a lot. I talk fast. My mind's moving. I mean, yeah. I word salad, everybody says. I don't give a fuck.
You do word
My point gets across.
If you're struggling in active addiction, I'm a partner with Groups Recover. I always leave the link in the description box of every video. And I'm going to create more content with Jason, and I'm going to be making more content about breaking a trauma bond and healing after narcissistic abuse, even if the abuse is ongoing. The cycle's not changing. It's up to you to heal and to distance yourself as much as humanly possible, and I am trying to do that, but it is difficult when the abuse is ongoing, so there are ways that you can make sure that you're in a good place mentally so that you can handle the chaos that other person is bringing into your life. So
call Jason.
I love you guys, and I will see you in my next one.